again, friends. I'm very glad to see you here for lesson number 6. I'd like to point out that this lesson begins what we call Module 2. There are only 3 modules, and you have finished the first one. Congratulations. You should already have your student guidebook pages next to you. If you don't have the student guidebook pages with you right now, then pause this video and return in a few minutes when those pages and a pencil are at your side. Before we get started, let's review the affirmation presented at the end of the last lesson. Because you were asked to repeat it several times, I am sure it's still familiar to you and maybe you can remember it exactly. People make mistakes. Smart people like me learn from mistakes. If you forgot to use that affirmation by repeating it several times between your last video lesson visit and this one, repeat it several times later today, along with today's new affirmation that I'll share with you in a few minutes. Repeating the affirmations to yourself is important, so don't skip this step. If you should forget one, look in your student guidebook. They are all listed in there for you to review anytime. From our last lesson, lesson 5, you remember that apologies cannot heal an injury to someone's well-being, but apologies can soothe the wound if the apologies are connected to the heart of the person saying them. The other thing that can soothe the wound is not having to spend close-up time with the person who attacked their well-being. This is one reason we have the give way rule. The other reason is that meanness also damages the well-being of the person who's being mean. You are not required to send the other person an apology if you don't really feel it in your heart. But you are required to stay away from the other person as much as possible while you're in this course. Okay, so this lesson today is the beginning of Module 2, which is called Acknowledge. Acknowledge is a very big word that actually means 2 things together. First, honestly admitting something is the way it is. And if it's wrong the way it is, then second, gladly trying to make it right again. For instance, if I borrow something expensive from a friend and then accidentally break it, I have to acknowledge that it wasn't broken when I borrowed it, and I'm going to have to do something to make it right for my friend. If I admit that I broke it, but don't get it fixed or replace it, then I did number 1, but not number 2. So I have not fully acknowledged what I did. If I fix it or replace it, but act angry about it, then I did number 2, but not number 1. So then I also have not fully acknowledged what I did. There's no reason to avoid it or to be mad. It happened, it broke while I had it, and my friend and I will be happier if I choose to honestly admit what I did and then gladly try to make it right by fixing or replacing it. But the example I just gave about breaking something that was borrowed from a friend is a story about an accident. And in this course, we're not talking about acknowledging accidents. We're talking about acknowledging things we've done on purpose. But it works the same way. No one can control me but me, and no one can control you but you. So whenever we have done something on purpose, like being mean, we made a choice. We could have chosen not to do it, but maybe we did not make that choice. Our choice was to do the mean thing, and so we did it. We said something or did something mean. We can't blame that on anyone else, especially the person who we were mean to. We must acknowledge that we chose to be mean. We admit it, and we gladly try to make it right. When we've been mean, then making things right can take a lot of time and effort. But there is wonderful news. We never again have to choose to be mean. We can choose to be nice immediately, right now, this minute. We can choose to be nice for just today or forever, from now on. If we do, there won't be very many more of these problems that we have to later admit and make right. I realize, though, that making nice choices can be tough because other people, usually friends, sometimes want us to make choices that they like or that they would make. Those other people might try to tell us what choice to make, and it might be a mean choice. And if they are friends, we normally would like to do what they want us to do. But they are not us. And as your last affirmation said, nobody can control you but you, not even your best friends. They cannot control you or the thoughts in your head. And if you do what they want, then that was your choice. And you will again be alone to acknowledge it, to admit what you did, and then to have to gladly make it right. So yes, making nice choices can be hard when friends and other people are interrupting your thinking with their own ideas and making your choices harder and more confusing. In the next lesson, we'll begin to discuss how not to get quite so confused when friends and other people are telling us the choices that they want us to make. Let's talk for a few minutes about two words you probably already know: guilt and shame. I know that I have heard these words used a lot in my life, and it's important that we don't mix up what they mean when someone says one of them to us or to you. Guilt means that you did something wrong. Shame, on the other hand, means that there is something wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. You're a normal kid. And for that reason, I wish the word shame could be erased from the world's dictionaries and never used anymore. I know that people do use the word shame, but it's not a word that fits or makes sense for any kid. So you have no reason to feel shame because it's a false and unhelpful word. But you may be guilty. Guilty means that you did something you should not have done. If you did, you need to admit being guilty of incorrect behavior and gladly make it right. Your mentor will talk to you a little bit more about these two words. But for now, just remember that if you hear the word shame, replace it in your mind with the word guilt. Lesson 6 is about over now. To finish up, I want you to read the following statement out loud and repeat it to yourself several times after you turn off the video. No one can control me but me. Just like you did at the end of the first 5 lessons, after taking the quiz, you should immediately contact your mentor and let him know that you finished this lesson, took the quiz, and are ready to talk about the information. I'll see you soon in lesson number 7.